If they don't come in the next couple of minutes, somebody text them. I'll try to text them too.
I am preparing to activate the feed.
What's that?
My phone's in the kitchen.
Feed is coming up. We are officially live.
Okay.
So
Well,
anyone who sees the feed, we're going to get started in just a minute.
Okay. That's all I have is Zoom written on the front of mine. Is that the way it's supposed to be?
On your front of your what?
In front of on my computer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you would just have the program with yourself. I don't have this presentation up yet. I just
gotcha.
activated the feed.
Okay. Oh,
I see Ken's logging in now.
okay. And I just sent an email to Brenda, but I said meeting like now. I didn't mean like, I meant live, but she'll probably figure it out.
Okay. I'm going to bring up the presentation then.
Okay.
And then you just tell me when to go.
We'll get going as soon as you want.
Okay. 1 second here. Sharing screen. I did not know it was such a formal meeting today, Ken.
Hi, Kim.
Of course.
Feel underdressed in my red t-shirt.
Okay. That's okay. But we are live, correct?
We are live.
Okay.
All right. So I'll go ahead and get things started and turn it over to you like normal. Okay. Welcome to the East Springfield Neighborhood Council Board meeting for October 6th. Just like we've said quite a few times, if you are on this page, then you may or may not have liked our Facebook page because you could be coming from the link that redirects you here. So if you could like the page, you'll stay up to date on all of our happenings and anything that we're putting out to the community for news or information. This presentation we're having now will be on our website after this is all done. And I'm probably going to put a link to the actual presentation to the YouTube and Facebook video because there's a lot of useful links on here today. And please subscribe to our YouTube channel if you go there. We're trying to get to 100 subscribers.
Okay.
That being said, I am going to turn it over to our council president, Kathy Brown.
Okay, thank you very much. Let's start this meeting with the pledge to our flag. I pledge allegiance
Allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible,
with
with
liberty
liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Again, welcome to the East Springfield Neighborhood Council meeting. We really appreciate you tuning in with us tonight. And we do want to hear from you. It's real important. I've been so pleased with the number of people who have reached out to the Neighborhood Council, to individual board members over the past month with issues and questions so that we could refer you to the right city departments or to get or help you get the information that you're looking for. Neighbors working together is what it's all about. Guy, did you? Okay, thank you.
Sorry, I normally pause.
That's okay. Our monthly conference call with Plaza Management, they are continuing. We have one on this coming Thursday. We know that the Plaza is still having some significant issues with trash and potholes. The potholes, many of them have an orange cone on them, and we know that that's not sufficient. It's a tiny step in the right direction, and we know that as of today, the trash is overflowing on the trash cans. We've reached out to the new management company and they are attempting to work with the situation, but we're not there yet. If you go to the Plaza and if you see that the stuff is overflowing after tomorrow or the day after, pick up a phone or email us and just to let us know so we can stay on it every single day rather than us having to take a ride every single day. But thank you. We are hopeful that this new property manager in this bank will help resolve the problem. They seem to be interested in it, but what they tell us is that they're having some trouble getting vendors to do some of the jobs because they're just having trouble getting vendors. So that being said, but thank you again, everybody, for calling us up and letting us know, or just pick up a phone and call 311, and that will help get this process moving also. Speaking of 311, I reached out to them, and East Springfield is using 311 significantly, and they're appreciative of that. It's making the workflow for the city much easier. So please continue to use that. If you call in, please make sure you ask for a ticket number, and then you can follow up on the issue.
Hi.
And if you have any trouble with getting information back, give us a call. We'll be glad to try to help you connect with the right people. Okay, our Community Preservation Act project. Hallelujah. Last night at the City Council meeting, they approved our walking loop path. So it's approved now. Thank you very much for the team for helping to put that together and going to all of those meetings to defend the project. It's about $101,000. They should be, right now, the city will be entering under contract with the park department because we've arranged that the park department will actually manage the project for us. They should be going out to bid this fall for the actual design and installation, and also working on it in the spring, and it should be completed by next fall, assuming everything goes well. We're hopeful because the park department, although they right now have a lot of projects they're working on, there were not a lot of park department projects that were were put in for the Community Preservation Act, so it has not overloaded them with work. So, but thank you. Hallelujah. It's just nice to know that we've got another nice amenity coming to East Springfield. If you have any issues or issues tonight that relate to the police, please let us know, and we're going to provide that information to the police for our upcoming beat management team meeting. And also, I think I stated last meeting that we are putting together a newsletter, and we want to be sure that that newsletter has the information that you need. So if there's something that you want in that newsletter, please send us a quick email, and we're going to try to squeeze it on the available space. Any questions from the board or comments from the board thus far?
No.
Okay. Page Boulevard cleanup. You may have noticed that the area of Page Boulevard between McDonald's and Haumont Terrace, the old Lewis and Clark, it's looking pretty good. Last week on the Monday, Sheriff Cochi and his team, and along with a strong assist from the Department of Public Works, spent time going all the way up and down that part of Page Boulevard and picked up trash and litter, and it was looking pretty darn good. We're hoping and reaching out to businesses and hoping that and the few residents that are on that strip to make sure and to encourage them to keep that property looking good. 2 weeks ago, before this cleanup, it was looking pretty shabby. It looked like, it needed a massive cleanup. But anyway, thank you very much to Sheriff Cochi and his team. And the DPW, I understand, did a huge job of helping them get rid of all of the trash that they did pick up. Normally, we do that project with the Sheriff's Department, but because of COVID, we were not, and they were not interested in commingling staff. So that's why they did a little pivot and they took care of business and got the job done. We're getting a lot of calls for unregistered vehicles and abandoned vehicles on both public and private property. Please, the most efficient way of dealing with these are to call 311 for vehicles that are on private property, and to call the police department non-emergency number for vehicles that are in the road. And you can also call us. We'd be glad to follow up on it. You may have noticed that there is a no through sign on Page Boulevard at St. James Circle. It was put up in error. It's not supposed to say no through trucks. It's supposed to say no through traffic, so the DPW is in the process of correcting that. So on the agenda, I put down no through traffic from Page Boulevard through St. James Circle. And that will help eliminate the constant flow between Page and St. James Avenue and using St. James Circle as a cut through. That was, we started to work on that goodness, John, was it a year ago, year and a half ago? Because some of the people, many of the people on St. James Circle were asking for some relief. I think it was probably about a year and a half ago. Am I correct, John? Yep, okay. Also, we've been advised and we knew that there's parking deficit issues on St. James Boulevard at El Paso Street. When the bike lanes were put in, it eliminated all of the St. James Boulevard parking for one of the businesses on St. James Boulevard. So we're looking into that. There are now bike lanes there, and according to the rules and regulations, you can't park in a bike lane. And consequently, this business has no parking, and she was looking to probably purchase the building, but now is thinking about not purchasing the building because if you have no parking, you have no business. So we're working on that. We're going to try to get that straightened out. It has to do with state, and Mike Fenton and I had a long conversation about it, and we've talked extensively with the business owner. And Mike is going to a meeting. Mike Fenton, City Councilor Fenton, is going to go to a meeting on Thursday evening to see if he can help maneuver through the muck and mire and figure out how to get that taken care of. There are a couple of other spots in East Springfield that are also the traffic parking has been impacted by the bike lanes. And we understand the need to have walkable and drivable streets. We've got to come up with some kind of a compromise or mitigation. East Springfield Neighborhood Council did get a request from Friedman Company on Stevens Street to facilitate no parking signs along Stevens Street to allow for the trucks to pass. I guess they're having a situation. CRRC employees have been parking in the road, and there is plenty of parking inside. So there's been negotiation going on with the CRRC, and so they've asked their employees to park inside CRRC so that they're not creating a road hazard. But for the long term, it might make sense. It probably would make sense to have no parking along that portion of Stevens Street where where CRRC people have been parking right by the CRRC gate. Again, the 25% plan for St. James Avenue, St. James Boulevard, and Cruise Street improvements, they're listed on our web. There will be a public meeting. We do not know when that public meeting is. I expect it will be a Zoom meeting put on, and it'll be put on by Mass DOT. So we don't control when that is. But anybody who's interested, anybody who's been through that intersection and said, darn it, this intersection needs to be fixed, we suggest that you go take a look on East Springfield Neighborhood Council website and take a look at the 25% plan. There's a lot of engineering. It's 111 or 113 pages long, but there are probably 8 or 10 pages that would be particularly interested to the normal person who passes through that area, because it shows roadways and turn lanes. So take a look at it, and any ideas that you have, you'll be able to, and we'll be able to pass them along to the Mass DOT at or even before the hearing. The city is currently looking at it carefully to be sure that the plan is going to meet the city's needs and also meet those requirements that we, Neighborhood Council, and the general public in East Springfield that came together to come up with some improvement ideas. We've received information that the state has some legislation that's pending that has to do with funding clean energy, and part of the legislation talks about funding biomass type of proposals as part of clean energy. And in the review that we did, it didn't really seem like biomass as we know it is clean energy. And we are very clear from the neighborhood people, everybody, that the biomass is not something that is preferred in East Springfield. So what I'm looking for tonight, and most of the board has been briefed a bit, I'm looking tonight for permission to send a letter to the state indicating that we are not, East Springfield Neighborhood Council on behalf of the neighborhood is not interested in the passage of any kind of legislation that would make a biomass type of facility qualify for renewable energy subsidies. The thing that has been holding up that biomass plant is money. And without money, it will not happen. We've put a link on this. Guy put the link on this. So if you're interested in what the proposed bill is, you can click right on it right there and it will show you all of the details. But could I hear, is there any questions from the board on my request to send the letter?
No.
Okay, can I hear a motion authorizing me to send it? Okay, second.
I'll second.
Thank you very much. Okay, so then I will send that letter out. I will share it with the board at the point before I send it out, or at least the main concepts. It'll be short and sweet. Okay, are there any other comments from the board right now? Questions? Okay, then let's go to the next agenda item, please. Couple of upcoming helpful resources for this month. Household hazardous waste collection. There's still one more that's available on Saturday, the 17th of October. And you just have to call the 736-311 number to schedule an appointment. They take this whole list of things, or you can call 311 and ask them what they take if you don't want to come back to this slide. Also, the prescription drug take back. Springfield will be participating this year, as they've had for the past about 15 years, Saturday, October 24th at Central High School parking lot. It's a drive-through from 10 to 2. Just drive through, drop off any unneeded drugs, and they will be disposed of properly. It is not, I repeat, it is not necessary to take your names off the pill bottles, etc., because you will drive through, you will take the item in your hand, drop it into a container, and that container, as soon as it's full, will be closed up. So no one will touch your item. I mean, the person might help you get it out of your car if you need help, but once it goes into that container, it will never be seen by human eyes again. It will be immediately taken to the proper disposal site and incinerated before the end of that Saturday. So no worries about your name on the pill bottles. Okay, next item, Guy.
Sorry, I was responding to the Facebook.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Oh, no problem. There we go.
Okay, Irene Kennison, are you with us here? Is Irene there?
I'm here. Sorry, I had to unmute.
No, that's fine. Take the minute.
So I just want to, I'm Irene Kennison. I'm with the Hampden County Shine Regional Office with the Department of Elder Affairs in Springfield. And I just want to remind everyone that open enrollment begins October 15th and ends December 7th. And this is specifically for folks who are Medicare beneficiaries. Folks know that we're still available no matter where you are in Hampden County. Where, especially for folks in Springfield, you can call the main office right here at the Department of Elder Affairs at 413-750-2893. And it's also important if you're happy with your plan or unhappy with your plan, it's like a tune-up for your car. You want to know if your prescription drugs are going to be cheaper next year, if there's a way you could save some money. Understanding what your plan covers, what it doesn't. Could you have more coverage? That's really important to know. And we can help you sort all of that out. You just need to give us a call. There will be a link for the website. It's down below that you can click on and go on to the website and look up all the information about the program itself. Or as I said, you can call the number down below at 413-750-2893. And we can schedule an appointment with a volunteer counselor to help you look at your plans and see what's available for the following year. Thank you, Kathy.
Thank you very much, Irene. It's I've only heard people have rave reviews for the kind of help that Shine has been able to give them. They leave your telephone appointments knowing that life is going to be easier for them because they've been able to save a few dollars or a bunch more than a few dollars.
I appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, John.
Hey, good evening, everyone. Yep, good evening. Just talking about safer streets in our in East Springfield. We did do a check your speed event on this past Thursday up on Bircham and Page Boulevard. That's the curve area of Page Boulevard. We had a few neighbors come out. A couple of neighbors came out and chatted to us about some crazy things that have been going on in the area around safety in that area, and a recent truck rollover accident and some of the concerns they have about that area of Page Boulevard. And we had some neighbors come out and hold signs and help us out with the event. The police officer that assisted us for safety reasons didn't pull vehicles over into the side street. He elected instead to kind of wait for the really egregious speeding people and go after them. And actually, well, for the lack of better terminology, he chased them down. He followed them with the cruiser and pulled them over with the cruiser to help make it a safer event for him. So that kind of limited the number of people that got pulled over. Although it was good to see that some of the crazies were stopped. And, you know, the event isn't there to ticket people, but the ones that are doing really high speed, it's sometimes the police find it necessary to do that. They pull over and ticketed 5 people in the hour and a half that we were there. So it was a nice day. It was a good event. It was nice to interact with the neighborhood. It's an area of concern, and we're hoping that we can. I know it's been some time. We've talked about this area, Page Boulevard, being an area of concern. We're trying to put something together beyond the radar speed board that we've managed to get erected in the area of that curve. The drive like your kids live here signs help. We're hoping to be able to do something with the DPW, something more in line with forcing cars to go slower. So that's something we'll be working on in the future. But as far as check your speed, we are planning our next event, our last event of the season, for October 29th. That's a Thursday from 4 o'clock till 5:30. A little bit earlier, ending a little bit earlier due to it getting dark a little bit earlier. But we'll do that on St. James Avenue, in the area of the curve on St. James Avenue.
October 29th, you said?
October 29th, Thursday, yes. So, and again, we are working with the Springfield Police. We're trying to see if there's a way that we can get some feedback around the activities that they've been doing in the neighborhood. I know you've probably seen some portable radar speed boards around. They are collecting data. They are using that data for enforcement activities. So we're trying to get some feedback on that and see if we can arrange it so the permanently mounted speed boards are collecting data. They are capable of collecting data. We're working with the city now to make sure that that's functioning, and we're trying to find out, you know, how much of that data we can have access to so that we can use some of that data for working with the police department for their enforcement activities. So kind of lots of things in the background going on with trying to get everyone to drive a little slower on our streets. That's all I have, Kathy.
Sounds good, John. Thank you very much for the continued work on that. City of Springfield Veterans Department is looking for volunteers for flagging of cemeteries for Veterans Day. So if anybody has some time and you're interested in helping to put flags on the graves of veterans, please give the City of Springfield Veterans Department a call. The phone number is here at 787-6141, and there's also an email address for jdecaro@springfieldcityhall.com. For COVID, because of COVID, they don't have their normal entourage of volunteers. So they are looking for a good sized handful of people who can go into those cemeteries, socially distant, and make sure that our veterans are appropriately respected and acknowledged on Veterans Day. I know that people in East Springfield have already responded out, so I'm thrilled. Okay, the city of Springfield is currently monitoring the COVID-19 virus pandemic, and we'll continue to offer further updates as things happen, but we know that the city is now designated as red high risk, and we went from green, which is very low risk, to red, which is high risk, in under a month. So we've provided some information here, and I know that Helen Carlton, the commissioner, Helen Carlton Harris, is going to be providing additional information. Most of us received a robocall, I think yesterday, reminding us, and there will be probably some PSAs, some public service announcements. Bottom line is what we've been told, and you probably already heard this, is that so far the outbreak, the uptick have come from neighborhoods, from communities, and 01104 is considered one of the higher uptick neighborhoods.
Really?
So yeah, so be particularly vigilant. Please make sure we do what it is we're being asked to in terms of social distancing, wearing masks, washing our hands. The city has continued to work with the state on the Stop the Spread, and we have up on the screen here free COVID testing at this point through October 31st, and there are 3 locations right now. And there, it's up on the screen. One is Eastfield Mall, the other is 595 Cottage Street, or 4 locations, 3 locations. Anyway, Springfield Technical Community College. A couple of them are by appointment only, but the Eastville Mall one is drive-through, no appointment, no questions asked, just come. You can pre-register, but it's not necessary. But please, if you have any interest, drive by one of these locations and get a free COVID test. You do not have to have symptoms in order to get these free tests.
Did have one question. Was there any details? Oh, sorry to just jump in, Kathy, but
Please do, please do.
I figured. Is there any certain part of 01104 that was most impacted, or do we not know specifically?
We do not know specifically. I think we might be getting a little bit more information on that, but I think the smallest areas that the city was interested at this point in drilling it down to, but was 01104 zip. So 01104, and I don't have the other ones. There was another one that was particularly high. It was either I don't want to say because I might be wrong, but we were one of the highest in the city, and it was not what the our health commissioner said. It is not because of colleges coming back at this point, and it is not because of MGM. It's because of people in the neighborhoods who are not social distancing and who are spreading it amongst themselves. So anybody who's out, I consider a risk. Also, the city of Springfield did make a whole list of guidelines for Halloween, and we provided them here for you because we've been getting questions. But it does, and I'll go quickly, but it does say that door-to-door trick-or-treating is not permitted, period. Trick-or-treating or events where kids go from car to car instead of door to door to receive treats is not recommended. But permitted would be online parties, car parades that comply with health guidance for vehicle-based parades, drive-by events or contests where individuals dress up or decorate their vehicle and drive-by judges, drive-through events where individuals remain in their car, and drive-through areas with Halloween displays, drive-in events where individuals receive a treat bag limited to commercially packaged non-perishable treats, or takeaway items from an organizer. And then certainly during this, again, to reiterate the personal protection measures, regardless of how you choose to celebrate Halloween, it's important again to keep in mind to wear a cloth face covering when outside your home and around others that are not a part of your household. Avoid confined spaces. Actively stay away from indoor spaces that do not allow for easy distancing of at least 6 feet between you and others. Avoid close contacts. Stay at least 6 feet away from all others who are not part of your own household, especially while talking, eating, drinking, and singing. Wash and sanitize hands often. Clean frequently touched areas. And if you're sick, or if you've been in contact with somebody who's sick with COVID or has symptoms, stay home, stay away from others, and get a COVID test. I think listening to our health commissioner, and because we're in red, she's really encouraging people to be extra careful. And she also did indicate, and I'm sorry if this is redundant because some of you may have watched her, she is saying that it is not only the people above 60 who are getting COVID, who are testing positive for COVID. There are a significant number of people over 30, between 30 and 60, and a sizable number of people who are under 30. So it's basically what she said is, young folks stay home, young folk be more careful, young folk protect the old folk. Okay? Is there, John, do you want to add anything to that? Anybody want to add something to that? And I think it's decent guidance from the city. Okay. Are there other questions that are on the queue, Guy?
No, we had the one, and I think that was it for today.
Oh, okay. How about the board? Any questions or comments?
Just Kathy, going back to the lining of streets and the bike lanes.
Mm-hmm.
It would be interesting to find out where decisions get made in terms of how streets get lined. You may recall back when St. James Avenue was paved,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know how many years ago it was that the last time they paved St. James, but it was certainly within the past 10 years that we had set up made arrangements and had them confirmed so that when St. James Avenue, after it was paved, that it was going to get lined as a single lane street. It was going to be clearly lined, that it was one lane all the way down St. James Avenue. And that after the street got paved, when they lined it, they ran the white line right next to the curb the way it was. And we had to go back and beg and plead, and they dropped another line in on one side of the street to make it look kind of like a bike lane, and that was it.
Mm-hmm.
And then more recently, when they did St. James Boulevard, they just came in, it was a surprise. We've been asking for it to be lined as a single lane street for a long time. And we woke up one morning and it was lined, and they put the bike lane in, and they left for parking all along Marshall Roy and everywhere else. They left no parking.
Mm-hmm.
There was no rhyme nor reason to it. And so who is it that makes that decision? And how do they base their decision on where they're going to put parking and where they're not going to put parking?
Right. John, I think that's a really good question. And I think that when we first had the issue with the line not going where we had negotiated the line would go, the whole bike walk, Springfield, the Pioneer Valley Planning Commission, all those people were not involved as part of the complete street or the, walk and bike together safely. I'm paraphrasing project. I do think now that there's some communication between Pioneer Valley Planning Commission and the Walk Bike Springfield and the city of Springfield, but I don't know that there's a fine-tuned evaluation process before the decision is made. That was one of the conversations that Michael Fenton and I had, and he's going to try to get that clarified so we know exactly who we should be talking to so that we're not talking around in circles.
Right. Because there's, St. James Avenue or St. James Boulevard is an excellent example, where on one side where the park is, they park in the bike lane and turn that side of the street clearly into a one-lane street. On the other side of the street, which is the same width of lane, they ran the bike lane right up against the curb, so it took away all the parking on that side of the street. For
So-
what reason? It just doesn't, logic doesn't prevail. Why do it one way on one side of the street and another way on the other side of the street when you have and I know it's kind of a rhetorical question. I know nobody here can answer that, but it would just be good to be able to understand a little better where these decisions get made, who makes the decisions, and what is the logic behind it that would make something like that happen.
Excellent point. I made another note to that. I'm sure you and I and the whole board can discuss that some more. And I'm looking forward to the feedback after City Councilor Fenton does a little
Very
bit
good.
more
Maybe-
research for us.
Right, through that process, maybe we'll be able to learn a little more about where that decision, how those decisions are made, who makes those decisions, and understand a little bit better where we can have input.
Yep, I think that makes perfect sense.
Yeah, thanks.
You're welcome. Any other board members have anything?
I have a question.
Yeah.
They have those big bags for trash that people clean up their house with.
Yeah.
Can they just leave them there forever like they do?
Nope. Nope.
Is there a time thing? Yeah.
I
'Cause-
I don't know if there is a time thing. But I think but no, you can't leave them there forever. I think if there is one that has been there for too long, particularly if it's sitting there full, the people
Yeah.
just have to call and make arrangements to have it taken care of. I think that would be an appropriate, if you don't know the person, if you're not going to bang on the door and say, how
Right.
long is this going to be here? It would be an appropriate 311 call, because
Okay.
I'm sure Officer Vasquez would be delighted to knock on the door and say, how long is this going to be here? And let's get rid of it, because it would end up being a ticketable offense. And we certainly
Okay.
do not want people to get tickets. Okay?
Right. Okay. Thank you.
Oh, no, you're welcome. Another piece of information, I was just looking for the actual details. I was notified today that the city of Springfield is starting their free flu clinics for anybody in the city. I know that they've already initiated the ones for school age students, but why don't we put that out on our website? I did put it on Nextdoor, and of course I can't find it right now, but they're starting free flu clinics. The Health and Human Services Director, Helen Carlton Harris, did suggest that people try to get them before the end of October. I mean, we all know that you can get them later than that, but she's suggesting that people get them sooner as opposed to later, because they do take a couple of weeks to start. And she is concerned, as many of people are, that there's going to be a combination of COVID and flu happening at the same time. So at least if we can get the flu shot, if you're intending to get it and get it out, get the immunity for that. Anything else?
Well, do you see they're giving pushback for the governor for making kids get the flu shot?
Yeah.
But then the federal government is saying more younger kids die of flu than of COVID.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah.
So it's not just our governor, apparently.
No, you're right. You're right. Anything else?
No.
Okay, then I'm going to close this meeting and remind people that we have a police beat management team meeting on October 20th. So please join in. If you have questions you want us to get to the police, get them to us early, or send them, or join in that night and get us to them that night. And have a safe couple of weeks, and we'll see you soon. Thank you.